So as I followed her with the window open, said to her, "What are you doing out here on this lonely road at midnight?" She didn't answer me, so I said to her, "Can I help you in any way?" Nothing happened. She kept right on walking, and I kept following her. Then nothing happened, so I leaned way over and looked out on the passenger side of my vehicle, and there was nobody there. But I realized that it wasn't, and I'm positively sure that it was a ghost.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Haunted Vermont podcast. Now, what you just heard at the beginning was a little bit of the story told by Frank Kurant for Take Two Vermont for Ghosts of Vermont Part 1 about the Whipple Hollow Road. And the reason why I wanted to share Frank's story a little bit is because that is the story that the passenger is based off of. And a lot of people were wondering why, even with the short film, why the female wasn't really talking that much. Because as you can kind of hear when I also will put in the segment from Frank Kurant's story, that Take Two, you can actually see a little bit more from the Take Two Vermont YouTube channel, Go to Vermont, or you can go on Haunted Vermont website and see it from there on a little playlist that I put together. There's 4 parts. Part 1 has the Whipple Hollow story, but I just want to give credit to where credit is due. Unfortunately, Frank Kurant is no longer with us. He passed away in 2012, but I think it's just a fascinating story because it kind of ties in with the whole Whipple Hollow town that vanished because of the marble industry. And you know, we heard about this lady in white for all these years, and Frank's story is like one of the best ways to look at it, and then you can kind of see the connection with the short film in hand. Now, before we get into Frank Kurant's little story that he did for Take Two Vermont, I just wanted to, put in my gratitude of, it's been 5 years. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we all trying to make it. And we even added the little backstory, which, you can hear more about that with the Marble Street Ghost story, where we reached out to the West Rutland Historical Society, and I'm pretty sure I read, what they responded with, almost like a Lover's Lane triangle thing. And at the time when we did the flashbacks, we didn't really know about that information, so we did make it look like it was a love triangle, which is why the lady in white came back for revenge in the horror aspect. But it goes to show though that legends will live on, and I want Frank's story to even live on too, because it's great, it's fascinating. It still gives us chills for bumps in the night, especially Whipple Hollow when you're still driving down that road, which I want to try to do, and more on that later on. But yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to appreciate all the support over the years for it. I know a lot of people have wondered when the next one is going to be, and I have some news about that, of what our next film that we would like to do. And I just, again, want to say thank you guys for the support. And after 5 years, I kind of look back and go, I kind of wish we did a little bit different scene scenario for the final scene with the lady in white, the ghost per se, and the driver. Even though that obviously doesn't really happen, because it's horror. We got to add something to make it more horrifying for the viewer, because we're trying to put it into the horror aspect. But anyway, yes, I did think about changing it after these years, where I kind of wish we did something a little bit different. Maybe like the stuff that came out of her mouth is basically what made the driver drown per se. Like, she kind of reached over and tried to drown him with the stuff coming out of the mouth and stuff like that. Just kind of like that sort of thing. But I didn't want to feel like we've seen that before too, so I was trying to make it different. But I almost wanted it to feel like for what happened to her in our story, she was just so angry and that she just wanted to let it go, and the only thing she could really do was just, bite and be malevolent and stuff like that, which a lot of people said, I thought this was a ghost and whatever. Well, I mean, yes, but, I mean, a ghost can harm people. A ghost can be physical with people, bite, scratches, they can possess and stuff like that. So, in a weird way, it's almost like the ghost did come to life to make herself known with a revenge tragedy. Otherwise, it's just one of those things where, I still like what we created back 5 years ago, and I hope you guys did too. So, I mean, hopefully we can do more like that later on. Like Ghost Hollow. I would love to do that, but unfortunately the budget would be a lot more because of what we would be looking for and needing for the Ghost Hollow, another Vermont Urban Legend short film, which is based off of another one in West Haven, Vermont, which is another cool little story. And I feel like this little story would be perfect for black and white with a twist. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more, and let's hear what others have to say about the 5-year anniversary of The Passenger, a Vermont Urban Legend.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tessa Baker, and I portrayed the Lady in White in The Passenger. Wow, it's been 5 years already since the short horror film was done with Paul and Jeremy and Katie and Flora and all them. It's hard to believe that it's been 5 years already. It's crazy. I actually rewatched the YouTube video today on the story of the Lady in White of Whipple Hollow Road, and I found it interesting to revisit and to see, her story again. And there's some things now that I've revisited it that I wish I could have done differently with my portrayal of her in the Passenger film. So I noticed in the YouTube video she was wearing essentially like a white cloak or hood or veil of some kind with her white dress, and I kind of wish that I had researched her better and dressed more to suit her image. I kind of wish that I came across like a white cloak or hood, some kind of a veil, and wore like this different kind of dress to suit who she was back then. I also would have liked to have drowned Jeremy in the car with the swamp water that was coming out of my mouth, rather than rip his throat out, essentially, because we were crunched for time and we had only so much daylight left before it became dark, so we only had like a limited amount of takes to do the scene. And I wish I had more time to shoot a couple of shots of the scene to see which take on it I would have liked better, or which take Paul would have liked better, because he was our director and he did a great job with it. it was a fun project. And like I said, I wish I could have drowned Jeremy instead of ripping his throat out. It kind of made me seem like I was like this ravenous ghost rather than, the vengeful aspect. I also thought it was kind of interesting how we tied in the good ending or the good encounter with the lady in white using Paul, and how I was essentially shown in a better light and carrying a baby in my arms, no less. I also found it interesting that shortly after completing The Passenger, a couple of months later, I actually had become pregnant in real life with our daughter, Amara. So I actually thought that was kind of interesting how that happened. So I guess looking back, there's only a few things that I would change, more so about what I did with my character. But overall, I enjoyed being a part of it. It was fun, and Paul is so easy to work with when it comes with working with him on projects. And I'm not just saying this because he's my counterpart and my daughter's father. He really does make doing projects laid back and easy, and it doesn't feel forced or like it's work. It makes it's like it flows so much better and so much more natural working with him. And I've always loved doing projects with him because he never makes it feel like work. I appreciate his direction, and I've always supported him in every project and endeavor that he's ever wanted to bring to life and bring into fruition. And I respect his vision and all things of that nature. So I think this is the first time he's ever really heard me talk about him in this light, or in the sense of him being a director and working with him. So you guys should definitely check out The Passenger if you haven't. If you're still a fan, please revisit. You may as well check out the rest of his projects as well. I highly recommend that you do so. He had done one last 2 years ago. He did a short horror with Tristan Knott called The Pumpkin for Halloween, and I recommend that you guys see that. He's also been teasing about Terror Trail 3 coming, so you guys should definitely keep an eye on the horizon for that. And for our fellow listeners that have seen Amara when she was a little baby, being a part of her daddy's films, she is very much not a little baby anymore, and she is a growing 4-year-old little girl with a very fun imagination and very, very chatty, and we love her to pieces. So we're looking forward to putting her in projects of daddies in the future. I'm sure she will do wonderful as our growing little scream queen. So that's going to conclude my thoughts and everything for The Passenger, and talking about working with Paul and projects of his that you should definitely check out. And if you haven't seen the first 2 Terror Trails, I recommend that you watch those too. And as always, Stay scary.
Woo!
Happy 5 years to The Passenger. I'm Jeremy Pratico, and I was in The Passenger. It was actually like my first movie. And so I'm in my movie room here where I have all my movies and stuff. And I hung up the shirt that I wore in The Passenger. And I have The Passenger signed picture here too. This is where Tessa attacked me and the blood was all on my shirt. So I hung it up in my movie room because it was that important to me. So much fun being The Passenger. Paul is amazing, so much fun to work with. He gives you so much of your own control for stuff that it's super fun. I mean, I've done many things with Paul, and he's awesome. But The Passenger was just fun. I remember laughing more than anything with driving the car back and forth, recording those moments with Tessa. And it should have been a comedy because we had more fun making it like a comedy. I mean, we just laughed a lot. It was hard to be serious because I'm a pretty funny guy. Well, I'm not, I'm funny looking, I guess. Anyway, I'll tell you, in doing The Passenger, there was Tessa, Paul, Katie. Katie is amazing. Like she's worked on a bunch of other videos with us, and she is so good at what she does with the makeup and all the other prosthetics and masks, and like she's so good at it. Like I'm super impressed with her. I would love to work with her again. She was so fun. Most memorable scene, gosh, the thing that sticks in my head is when we're driving and the car window, I'd put it up and it would automatically go back down and stop halfway, and I wasn't touching it. Like something was fishy on that road as we were recording. I can't even explain it, but the window kept moving. It was very, very odd. I don't know what was going on. That's probably most memorable. The laughing was definitely memorable. The bloopers, I'm hysterical. I just went back and rewatched the bloopers, and I was giggling like a kid the whole time. Super, super fun time. The whole thing, start to finish, Paul, Tessa, bloopers, Katie, everything, just awesome. I want to do more. Like, it's so fun. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, happy 5 years, Passenger. I can't believe it's been 5 years. It seems like longer. I guess I'm due to go watch it again. So happy 5 years, and hopefully there'll be a Passenger 2 someday. Thanks, Paul.
I did plumbing and heating most of my lifetime, and I had a 24-hour oil burner service. I would go out all hours of the night. Coming back from such a call, I came north through West Rutland. I came out of Chippenhook, through West Rutland, going north on the Whipple Hollow Road, and I saw this iridescent, beautiful light. And as I approached this light, it turned out to be a beautiful lady with a gown and a veil on her head. So I followed her for quite some time, slowed way down, and followed her and watched her beautiful face. And it was the most amazing thing that I can remember, even at my age, at 83, was how beautiful and distinctive her face looked. So as I followed her with the window open, I said to her, "What are you doing out here on this lonely road at midnight?" She didn't answer me, so I said to her, "Can I help you in any way?" Nothing happened. She kept right on walking, and I kept following her. Then I finally drove about 10 or 15 feet ahead of her and opened the door, hoping she would come and talk to me. But then nothing happened, so I leaned way over and looked out on the passenger side of my vehicle, and there was nobody there. I sat there for quite some time thinking this over and said, this has got to be a human being. But I realized that it wasn't, and I'm positively sure that it was a ghost.